incident took place on Sunday in Costa Rica. He was on a family vacation. He was swimming off of the coast of a town called Cocles in the province of Limon. He was swimming at Playa Grande. I mean, I've visited Costa Rica a few times. I was there with my family a few years ago, and those currents can be very strong.
They said it was drugs. Whispers echoed it was self-inflicted. The headlines painted it as a tragic, accidental end. But every single one of them was wrong. Dead wrong. 70 years old, with hands trembling and eyes swollen from years of grief, Pamela Warner, mother of beloved actor Malcolm-Jamal Warner, has broken her silence. And what she reveals in a trembling, crackling voice will not just break your heart. It will shatter everything you thought you knew about Malcolm's life, his death, and the sinister shadows that dance behind Hollywood's golden curtain. Malcolm wasn't spiraling. He wasn't lost in the haze of fame or crumbling beneath the pressure of the spotlight. He was rising, creating, healing, building a future not only for himself but for his community. And then, like a candle extinguished in a gust of wind, he was gone. The autopsy report that Pamela held with shaking hands didn't confirm drug use, didn't scream scandal. It whispered something far more terrifying. A silent heart condition, a medical ghost that had haunted Malcolm for years, never making a sound until it struck. Calmly, peaceful morning, and one final breath beneath the water. This wasn't the story the media wanted, but it was the truth. Pamela remembers the last words her son ever sent her. Lake is quiet. Stars are bright. Wish you were here. Love you always, Mom. That text message, a small flicker of warmth, has become both a dagger and a lifeline. Etched in her soul, she sobs. And the world sobs with her. There were no drugs, no scandal, no headlines full of shame. Just a brilliant, soulful man, beloved forever as Theo Huxtable, who slipped away in silence. Now, Pamela is launching a foundation in his name, not to glorify his legacy with glittering statues or awards, but to sound the alarm, to warn the world that Malcolm didn't drown in scandal. He drowned in silence, a silence that cost him everything. This isn't just about a celebrity death. This is about what we ignore, the symptoms we brush off, the silent killers that don't care about your fame, your money, or your future. This is about a mother who refuses to let her son's final moments vanish in a swirl of tabloid lies. You think you knew what happened to Malcolm-Jamal Warner? You don't know a thing. Not until you've heard Pamela's truth. They assumed Pamela's silence meant peace. They believed that because she hadn't spoken, she had accepted the narrative. But behind that silence was a fire, a storm, an ache that refused to rest. Pamela had been carrying something too heavy for any mother to bear, and now she's ready to unload it all. To the world, Malcolm was Theo, the funny, loving son of America's favorite TV family. But to Pamela, he was more than a character. He was her baby, her joy, her purpose. And the truth of his death is something no mother should have to repeat. But she does, because the world needs to hear it. It was a peaceful July morning at Big Bear Lake. The water sparkled. The breeze was soft. Malcolm, who had been staying at a retreat, went for a swim. He had been happy, creative, focused. He had brought jazz records, notebooks, and hope. He had told staff he was finishing a screenplay. He had plans, but he didn't bring a life jacket. And he didn't know his heart was a ticking time bomb. Pamela's voice cracks when she recounts the call. When the phone rang, I just knew. I knew before I even picked up. A mother always knows. He had promised to call her after breakfast. That call never came. Coroner's report was brutal in its simplicity. A sudden cardiac arrhythmia. No drugs, no trauma, no signs of a struggle. His heart had simply stopped, and he slipped beneath the water without a sound. He told me once, Pamela whispers, "Sometimes my heart races a little." I told him to see a doctor. He just laughed, said, "Ma, I'm fine." He wasn't fine. The media didn't want this story. They wanted drama, scandal, something that could sell. But the truth was quiet. It was clinical. It was preventable. That's what makes it even more heartbreaking. Pamela lives now surrounded by his scent, his photos, the sound of jazz floating softly through the hallways. She blames herself. She wonders if she had pushed harder, forced him to get checked, if he might still be here. But the world didn't just fail Malcolm with headlines. It failed him again when it ignored the storm brewing underneath. Malcolm wasn't a broken man. He was healing, creating, working on a spoken word album, a screenplay, even a mentoring program for young Black poets. "This one's for us, Ma," he had told Pamela. "For those of us who never got to cry out loud." He was about to shout with pride, and instead the world went quiet. But just when Pamela thought her sorrow had settled into an unbearable routine, everything changed. The silence cracked wide open. A USB drive appeared. No label, just 2 words. Listen carefully. It was a voice message. Malcolm's voice. Shaky, paranoid, terrified. "Mom, if you ever get this, I need you to know it's not what they're going to say. It's not an accident. They're watching me. Every time I speak out, they punish me. If they silence me, I need you to fight."
I wanted to remind you, as I remind myself, that no matter what's going on, there's always a reason to smile. Like, if you just take a minute to stop and take stock, I guarantee you can find at least one reason to smile. And if for some reason you can't find a reason to smile, then that's probably the best time to be the reason for somebody else to smile.
Pamela dropped the drive. She screamed. This wasn't grief-induced hallucination. This was real. And there was more. The USB included documents, redacted files from a private security firm, surveillance logs, even references to a covert operation titled Project MJW. Malcolm wasn't paranoid. He was being watched. She ran to Eddie Griffin, who immediately wept after hearing the message. "I told y'all they got him," he said, picking up his phone to call Dave Chappelle, who never answered. That night, Pamela's house was broken into. Nothing stolen, except the backup of the USB. The message was clear: stay silent. But Pamela had already made up her mind. She went live. No filters, no PR team, just a mother and her truth. "They lied to you. My son didn't die by accident. He was silenced, and I have the proof." The live stream exploded. #Justice for Malcolm trended globally. Fellow castmates posted cryptic messages. A single red balloon emoji, black roses, a silent salute. Then came the court orders, gag orders, legal threats, media hit pieces calling her delusional. But the people weren't buying it anymore. Leaks poured in. Emails from TMZ showed stories planted by PR firms. A nurse at Cedars-Sinai revealed Malcolm had been placed in a psychiatric lockdown wing. A grainy hospital photo showed him bruised and muzzled in a wheelchair, dated after his official time of death. "They're trying to clean me up," he kept saying. And clean they did. Corrupt timelines, gagged voices, brushed over inconsistencies. But Pamela didn't stop. She accused studio heads, elite PR firms, and Hollywood fixers. She named names. The buzz loop has been closely following the wave. Every thread, every leak, every protest sign that says, "He didn't drown, he was erased." A rookie cop filed a report, said the scene looked staged. Cups cleaned, cameras disabled for exactly 17 minutes. The moment Malcolm supposedly fell, that cop reassigned, then disappeared. And the biggest blow, a leaked recording of Malcolm confronting a producer.
That was a multi-decade career in Hollywood, spanning several different shows. I did a little bit of research before this, and he had about 84 credits on his resume before passing away at just 54 years old. And TMZ also obtained photo, possibly the last photo of him that we may even have ever seen on TMZ.com at the airport on July 13th coming into Costa Rica. It's just so tragic to look at that photo and think that just a week later he'd be passing away.
"I know what y'all did to those boys in the 90s. I'm not gonna be your next headline." "Then don't go jogging alone," the producer replied. The recording went viral. TikTok exploded. Vigils were held outside the last building Malcolm was seen in. Celebrities began distancing themselves from the accused. Executives resigned quietly. And then came the Warner Truth Tapes, a digital vault created by Pamela with the help of whistleblowers. In the first 48 hours, the vault had 7 million views. Now the world knows Malcolm didn't overdose. He didn't collapse from depression. He was hunted, silenced, erased. Pamela has made it her life's mission to unmask everyone involved. She's fighting not just for her son, but for every artist who died without justice. Every truth buried beneath glittering lies. And now you know the story. Every tear-stained truth, every covered-up file, every voice that screamed and was silenced. So now we ask you, how much truth is too much? How many more must fall before we finally listen? Drop a heart in the comments if your soul is shattered hearing what really happened. Drop a candle if you're tired of watching them bury truth under glamour and lies. If you believe the truth deserves a voice, then don't just scroll. Share this story. Spread this fire. fire. Keep Malcolm's voice alive, because what they tried to erase, we are rewriting in fire. Subscribe to the Buzz Loop if you're ready to hear what they don't want you to know. Turn on notifications because what's coming next will shake the system even harder. This is the Buzz Loop, and we don't whisper, we roar.